I just listened to my colleague from Kansas and just how commendable the example that he has set to go and visit absolutely every one of the single hospitals in the state of Kansas. That's an example for all of us, to get out and talk to our constituents, listen to what they have to say. And the senior senator for Kansas has, I think, set an example for all of us. He visits every county in his state repeatedly, yearly, and it's a model for all. So I'm so happy to hear him address these issues in this body this morning. Mr. President, I also heard the speaker speak, who was the senator from New York, Senator Schumer, and what I heard him do is something different. What he did is he mischaracterized a budget term called the current policy baseline. First and foremost, the Budget Committee has consulted with the Senate parliamentarian on the substitute amendment that we're bringing to the Senate today. The parliamentarian has deemed it appropriate for consideration under the Congressional Budget Act. The Budget Act is also clear. The Budget Committee chairman decides the baseline. I served in this body when it was the Democrats arguing in favor of the current policy baseline. That was in 2013, when President Barack Obama was in the White House. And the Obama administration and the Senate Democrat majority at the time argued that a current policy baseline was, quote, the appropriate reference point when it extended existing tax policy. Senate Republicans are simply following the law and the standard that the Obama administration wanted followed in 2013. Current policy baseline is how we make the tax cuts permanent. It is how we stop a $4 trillion tax increase. The tax increase supported unanimously by today's Senate Democrats. Because for the Senate Democrats, their favorite day is coming soon, Tax Day, April 15th. And millions of Americans today are filling out their tax forms. People are going to spend time this weekend trying to get it right. And as they do, I ask myself and wonder if these people that are working so hard at home, hardworking people earning money and having to fill out their tax forms, if they realize that Democrats right here in the United States Senate want to raise those taxes by a cumulative number of $4 trillion. Look, a $4 trillion tax increase on American families would be devastating. Senate Republicans are fighting against it. Republicans want to make the 2017 tax cuts permanent. We want to reverse the Democrat failures of the past 4 years. We're focusing on getting America back on track. Let's look at the tax cuts that occurred a number of years ago. Tax reform restored fairness and simplicity to the tax code. Americans are better off because of it. It's one of the things that resulted in the best economic times of my life. Within 2 years of passing the tax cuts, the United States added millions and millions of new jobs. Unemployment fell dramatically to its lowest point in 50 years. Many businesses grew, invested. Most importantly, hardworking Americans had more money in their pockets to spend. In Wyoming, I heard of one local business owner who used the tax cuts to give his employees a raise. He also expanded his business. More jobs, more economic opportunities for people in his part of the state of Wyoming. This is what happens when Washington taxes less and taxpayers get to keep more of their hard-earned money. It's good for families, good for businesses. It is good for our nation. In Wyoming and across the country, millions and millions of workers were benefited from the higher pay, the bigger bonuses, and the best opportunities that come from lower taxes. By making these tax cuts permanent, businesses and families will get the stability and the certainty that they need in order to thrive. Like 90% of Americans saw their taxes go down because of tax reform. It would be disastrous for the tax and spend Senate Democrats, those who brought us the highest inflation in our lifetime, if they were to choke off the chance for Americans to keep more of their hard-earned money. American families would see their taxes go up if the Democrats get their way. 20 million businesses would see their taxes go up if Democrats get their way. 6 million jobs and $540 billion in wages could be erased if Democrats get their way. In all, families, workers, and job creators are facing a $4 trillion tax increase. When Republicans passed this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she was Speaker of the House at the time of California, famously dismissed the savings and the bonuses and the benefits. She said that these wins for workers, she described them as crumbs. Democrats continue to dismiss the burden of higher taxes. Listen to what Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts said. She said cutting taxes was nothing more than tossing a few crumbs at the American people. Well, listen to what Senator Cory Gardner of New Jersey said. He blamed workers who received bonuses from tax reform for what he said, driving up the debt. Don't recall him saying that in his last 25 hours on the floor of the Senate. Didn't repeat it again. Democrats are out of touch with America's families. That's what's happening here. It's been proven by the results of the November election, and their condescending liberal attitude is a threat to the American dream. They just think they know better than everybody else. It's wrong for Democrats to force hardworking taxpayers to pay for wasteful Washington spending. But fortunately for the hardworking taxpayer of this country, President Trump is in the White House, Senate Republicans are in the majority, and common sense is coming to Washington. Senate Republicans are going to continue to put an end to this wasteful Washington spending because we stand with American workers, with the job creators, and with the small businesses of this country. Hardworking taxpayers are soon going to see where each and every senator stands.